The question for you now is, for somebody who's currently in, let's say that they got a year until they're thinking about it. They're going to ETS or EAS in 12 months. When should they start having the conversation of Skillbridge? When should that start happening? Like when does that need to happen? And when do you need to have an approval to get this person in place to obtain the training?
Yeah, great question. I think 18 to 12 months out, you need to decide, okay, I'm going to EAS. This is what I want to do when I roll out. Having a plan is great. Having no plan causes stress, anxiety, and can lead to financial difficulties, right? So 18 months out, figure out, hey, is this right for me? And there's a lot of Skillbridge programs. Not everybody's going to get to go on Skillbridge. It's going to be those chosen few that get to go out on the Skillbridge program. But I would encourage people to start thinking about it. And if you're coming into the tech world, you want to do Empower Skillbridge, the USO offers some free basic courses. Let's say you're a Humvee mechanic or a Stryker mechanic, and you got to just figure it out. USO, get those free classes through the Ed Center, get yourself a foundation, then apply to a program. And it doesn't need to be Empower. We're the only cyber program like this out there right now, but there's some that you pay for too. There's some Skillbridge programs that you have to pay to do. But start socializing it. And then about that 9 months out time frame, start applying, so that when in that 6 month window, you need 10 weeks in that 6 months. You might do the 10 weeks up front and then go back and finish your active duty time. And you might be working at the rifle range, pulling butts or painting rocks, like we used to do with our what we call the non-deployables, right? Hey, they're non-deployable. We would put them on stuff like gate guard, working the rifle range, those kinds of things. Going to Skillbridge is a way more useful way to spend your time. So then you contact Empower. We have a recruiter, Vanessa Baez-Vera. She is amazing. I have one person recruiting for my whole program. And she also, military spouse, knows what's going on. And she advises people on how to do these things. And if they need help with letters, they need help approaching their command, we can help them do that. And not everybody's going to get a yes, right? We've signed people up, and then at the last minute, sometimes the needs of the service are going to dictate. But the earlier you start, the better. I'm enrolling people right now for 2025. I'm actually I've got the dates published, and we can enroll people in 2025. So that's how it works.
And Chris, if they don't get a chance to do the Skillbridge program, they could always do the Empower program once they
That's
actually.
A beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. And so the Empower, they can do tech fundamentals. We also have my friend Matt Velez and Nelson Abbott run the advanced training programs, which we have a cybersecurity program and a cloud program. Really good programs. So you can, as you get out, you can do tech fundamentals, and we have that in 11 states now. North Carolina and Ohio just got added. And if you do well in those courses, then you can take the cyber or cloud. Or if you've done it while you're on active duty, you're able to get the CompTIA A+, ITF Plus, Network Plus. Then you can jump right into the cyber class when you get out. The difference is that we're a nonprofit. We don't charge, so we don't mess with your GI Bill. So my advice to people with GI Bill, it's sacrosanct. Do not give it up unless that's really what you want to do. And for 99 times out of 100, that is to go to college and use that to get your bachelor's degree, right? There are some people who want to do the vocational training. I think it's a small group that's going to work for them. But for most of us, that GI Bill, that's what my son's using to go to college right now. And it's really been incredible.
And just real quick, I'm going to throw in there about the GI Bill, just because, again, it's one of these rabbit holes that makes sense from the VA perspective. If you have any of your post 9/11 GI Bill remaining, I'm talking 1 day's worth, anything remaining, and you have any sort of disability with the VA, a 10%, 20% rating, doesn't matter, You can apply for VR&E with the VA, that's Veterans Readiness and Employment. And if you are found to be eligible to enter that program and they deem you necessary to go get a bachelor's or a master's or whatever, they will put you through the course. And if you have that GI Bill remaining, they will pay you out a stipend of up to $3,200 a month, a subsistence allowance, mirroring your post 9/11 GI Bill amount with a cap of $3,200. Only if you have GI Bill remaining. If you've exhausted it, or you're the old school, my Montgomery GI Bill doesn't exist anymore, then they just pay you the subsistence, the basic subsistence allowance, which is a little over $1,100 per month. So having that GI Bill, utilizing that through the VR&E program to get that education could be very advantageous. With that, I'll kick it to Randy for the last question before we wrap this up.
Yeah, I got a quick question for you, Chris. You've talked about this intense 10-week period, kind of everything that goes into it. We went through a day in the life. As people look at this program and prepare to enter it, what can they do to prepare their families? Because I know, as a family guy myself, if I'm looking at something that's really going to polish up my skills and be a lot of work every day, it's going to have an impact on me as a dad. And I think there's probably a lot of moms out there that feel the same way. So tell me about how or what your recommendations are to prepare the family unit for going through your program.
Yeah, this is a great question too. So for the Skillbridge program in particular, look, Skillbridge has some really, really strict regulations, right? Accountability. I need to report back to the TAP office that by the hour, who's in class and who's not. And they report that back to the unit. We cannot lose accountability of our people. And I've had some people join the class and go, well, I'm going to take a cruise with my girlfriends, but I'm going to bring my computer and no. Or, VA appointments are important. You need to schedule them around class because I cannot let people out of class. For Skillbridge, they need to be accounted for that they are at their appointed place of duty. So it is not it is not okay to have a bunch of medical appointments scheduled. So I let them know in advance. I'm like, hey, scheduling medical appointments before, after. There might be some days when I can squeeze an hour in here or there if you got a car emergency or you got something. But I have to be accountable for everybody. If they miss a certain number of hours, I got to send them back to their command with nothing. And I don't want to do that. I actually had someone enroll fraudulently. They didn't tell their command, but they told us they had all the letters and it was not correct. And finally the command came looking for them and we had to send them back. And they, went to Article 15. Not good. There's a way to do this. And to prepare your family, it's like, I'm going to need some personal time to study. I'm going to need some quiet time. But the cool thing is I'm going to be home. I'm going to be at home, but I need to wall off a little area. I can't have kids riding by in big wheels right behind me and, doing what kids do. God love them. I got 3 of them. But I'm going to need time to shut the door and do my work and get this done. And at the end of that, their payoff is going to be, we're going to go to a good place after we transition. When I do the graduation, we do it in uniform. And for some of them, it's the last time they wear their uniform. And it's a moving event with the employers are there, families are there. It's really great. But you're right to ask that question because I can't be on kitchen duty all the time. I can't, the spouse, and it's male and female spouse, has to understand. I think I've got, I have less women in this class than I had in Empower, California, but I'm having an increasing number of women take this class. And women are in high demand in the tech workforce, as we know. With all the initiatives that are out there, the women that I train are very quickly also hired up because they add that they add to that diversity in workforce that's been male dominated for a long time.